Nintendo reserves the right to brick your consoles following unauthorized use in bid to prevent privacy. So if they think you've tampered with anything, whether it be ripping a game, maybe or trying to get the security information from your console to make a key, the crypto information, whatever the case, they can send data to brick your console. Now it doesn't in there. It turns out they also record some of your what you're doing on that console, which by logic that would mean they're always recording you because they claim they'll keep the last few seconds. So an update, a recent update, Nintendo has confirmed that it will only review video and audio recording as part of its user report system. So yeah, that's, as I was saying, they record your audio and video in an effort for anti-piracy. All recording is otherwise privately stored on device, and no recording is sent to Nintendo until a report is submitted. Nintendo said in a statement to Game File. Yeah, just like Amazon says that, Google says that, Facebook says that, but they all get caught spying on you and recording everything and going through it and keeping it and selling it to people, even to companies. Yeah, we've heard this story before. Now it's bad enough that they will brick your console if they think you are doing something they dislike, but they are also recording you. This is
Didn't
this is on the this is on the Switch 2s that we know of.
didn't Ubisoft or Ubisoft rather? Didn't they get fined for collecting data on people?
Oh, yeah, but this is even worse. I mean, seeing as how on the Switch 2, you're able to have audio and video conversations and chats with people, whereas on the Switch before that, you could not. Licensed only for personal and non commercial use, and that any unauthorized use of digital products may result in the digital product becoming unusable. You acknowledge that if you fail to comply with the foregoing restrictions, Nintendo may render the Nintendo account services and or applicable Nintendo device permanently unusable in whole or in part. So that's what they mean by brick. It means your console might as well be a brick because it's not good for anything else. You are not allowed to lease, rent, sublicense, publish, copy, modify, adapt, translate, reverse engineer, decompile, or disassemble uh, or any portion of the Nintendo account services without Nintendo's written consent or unless otherwise expressly permitted by applicable law. This is intended for anyone who encounters language or behavior that violate applicable law and with the company able to review the last 3 minutes of recorded footage. This is to ensure a safe and family friendly online environment. So they're going to be monitoring you for your language. And as a result, if they don't agree, they can brick your console and cancel your account. The update comes ahead of the game chat feature on Switch 2, where players can essentially video call each other during gameplay. It followed a string of moves against piracy, including the shutdown of Switch emulator Yuzu and a lawsuit against the streamer who regularly played pirated copies of Nintendo games ahead of release. Okay,
Okay,
what's your
then.
thoughts?
Well, that's insane. Well, that lets me out because I'll get pissed off at a game or something and start shit talking. I do. I can't help it. It's like, you know, that takes
Well,
the fun out of it.
on YouTube, you can't say certain words without them having a fit. Now, imagine this Nintendo and their idea of family friendly. Almost anything will get you flagged, and they can legally brick your console and block your, ban your account.
Yeah, this is not new. This is something that I learned recently that this has been in since like Wii U, and they want to make sure that no one's pirating and emulating on their consoles, which is annoying, but we all agree to it. Now I think it's called out because they're coming out with a better console and there's better vetting of what these companies are doing. So now it's like this big thing, but it's always been there. It's been in the agreement of, hey, if we find out that you're doing something weird to our console, we can brick it. We can tell you no more online support. But like 8-Bit Eric said, if you're just a game player, you have nothing to worry about. If you're a modder, take it easy because they'll brick you.
Yeah.
Well, they've always, all these companies always have such agreements, but now it's more enforceable, seeing as how more and more things are requiring online connectivity, and they're including microphones and cameras. Plus, the hardware is getting beefier, so they're more able to record you
Yeah, I
every
hate
inch of
that
the way.
shit.
They're keeping all of your data.
That shit's
And
creepy.
now, since it's all online, they can just not only brick your console but ban your account. And can you imagine someone then going, "Well, that's okay. I'll just get another Nintendo." Not me. I'd be so done with Nintendo, and I would dedicate, if I were to ever touch anything Nintendo again, it would be emulated and pirated. If it were me.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, for people that like to mod their game and stuff, that's half the fun of it.
Right.
I mean, they're not really doing it to be malicious or anything. They're doing it to have a more enjoyable game
They're
experience.
creative, right?
Yeah, it will be modders who might catch the most of it, and anyone who's actually trying to decompile and decrypt things. But there will be a lot of false positives. A lot of people will get hit by this regardless. And whatever way you slice it, it is an ugly thing that I honestly think people should fight against, at least swear off Nintendo now. Whether that will actually happen, probably not.
So Sony did this in the past. Xbox has done it. Nintendo is doing it. They're trying to overly protect their license, and it's turning people off because it seems like an over forceful police force where they're like, buy this, but then there's like someone standing there watching you like, I fucking dare you to do something wrong, and it's very ominous. It sucks.
There is a difference between Nintendo and Microsoft and Sony. Nintendo, the way they went after people who emulated and hosted the ROMs, the way they went after them above and beyond all, they went after them viciously. I could see them abusing their power with this. Besides that, if they're coming down on all platforms against people like this, then maybe either they should move to PC, and if PC becomes that way, we should boycott gaming studios and gaming companies. And I mean, after all, we have a large backlog of games. And secondly, there needs to be a video game industry crash for it to be rebuilt with them learning from their mistakes.
Yes, exactly. That's why I love Nintendo, but that's why I always, when my friends are like, dude, what should I do? I'm like, Steam Deck. Don't fuck around. Just buy a Steam Deck. You'll be clear. You're good. I mean, yeah, you are restricted to certain games. You can't play Call of Duty on it, but at the same time, don't fall into these new things because they're getting more strict, and I don't want to support the strict.
Well, I mean, the whole idea behind gaming to begin with is it exercises your imagination and your ability to escape from reality for a while. Well, if your thing is, if you're a creative person, you're going to want to know, you're going to figure out how to mod that shit to make it better. And if you can't do that, then what's the fucking point of having it?
Right. It's my device. I paid this much for it. Fuck off. Yeah. I paid you a lot of money for this device. Can I not enjoy it?
you can still play games before the internet. You could play any number of games from Atari to PlayStation 1 or whatever the case may be without issue. But now that internet connectivity and Big Brother style watching is happening, we will see more and more games drop off because they will drop support, the servers, they'll drop the servers for it. Plus, you have to worry about any possible violations that they deem that you have violated something. It's just become a minefield.
That's the
of a
thing about
now.
Yeah, that's the thing about the cameras is they're not focusing on what you're saying. You know, if you say trigger words, yeah, they'll focus on that, but they're watching your pupils dilate. They're watching what makes you happy, and they're learning. It's all this AI learning about what kind of sets you off, what kind of gets you going. And it's fucking sick. It's weird.
Yeah, it's an incredible violation of privacy
Yes.
and more.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But this
So
is
there has been people asking lately, has Nintendo become the evil company? And I would say yes.
yeah, because if they're doing stuff like this, then there's no telling what they're gonna do next.
Right. And they do have a very good grasp on technology.
Well, it's gonna be difficult because all the little kids and a lot of little kids like Xbox and PlayStation and all that kind of stuff. But there's a lot of them that prefer Nintendo because they market toward little
It's
kids.
it's
my kids
brand
love my
recognition
Switch, and I have to stick
and
with it.
brand loyalty. Yeah,
Yes.
brand recognition and brand loyalty. They will keep coming back to it, and they're not. You know, especially the younger kids are not going to be aware of all this that's going on, but the parents should be.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Well,
exactly.
You know, Nintendo, they market toward little kids because they have the bright colors and they have the cartoonish characters and stuff like that in most of their games.
Yep.
So little kids eat that shit up, you know, because it's fast and it's bright and it's colorful.
That's what I'm dealing with right now. Yeah, exactly. I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
And the thing is I think a way to combat that is have a bunch of old consoles, and if you can get the older games for them, like the Nintendo 64 and consoles.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from, but
I have a Sega Master System, and my kids are like, "What? What do I do?" And I was like, "Put the cartridge in the slot." And they're like, "What?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Dude, just put it in the slot."
but the younger children, they're being advertised to. They're gonna have a fit for these newer products, and they're not gonna care about being spied on. For that matter, they're gonna grow up expecting to be spied on.
Yeah, they're not gonna know the difference.
Right. Yeah, you got to know, because they're all it's all for money. It's all because they want to know what you like, and they're going to sell you to someone else, and then yep.
Well, you know, it's bad that the country worries about Chinese spying so much, but when things like this come in, they openly embrace it. I just find that mind-boggling.
That's why I'm not on TikTok. You know, if I'm gonna sell my information somewhere, I'd rather it be within the United States, but because I know they're doing it, but I don't bank on other channels. You know, like I'm worried that, what is the Chinese? Yeah. Dude, what do they know about me? I like bread. I like hamburgers. But what are they doing with that information? So I don't know.
What they're doing is they're feeding it into a LLM, a large language, essentially AI. And AI is trying to learn you thoroughly, not just you, but society as a whole, and the way it ebbs and flows, so they can predict the market, among other things.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I mean, They even predict elections and stuff like that. So
See?
with scary accuracy.
Yeah.
It's just scary how accurate it is.